We are live. This is the market update. Jerome Powell, shocker, right? Doesn't change interest rates, but the market's going to figure out that interest rates are going a lot lower. Market's also going to figure out that this tariff thing is over. Deals have been made. It's over. Market's also going to figure out that the orange band is setting up a very, very, very big announcement, I think. Very big announcement. Now, we're going to welcome who's here. We're going to go over the news, right? Especially the fact that, you know, the left is all wound up about what Orange Man is doing with his meme coin, when they really should be focused on the strategic Bitcoin reserve announcement that is no doubt coming. Okay. Also, just for a note, just to have fun, just to let you know that yesterday we made a kind of a goof, and in the YouTube member area, right, we accidentally streamed it for free. So we had the YouTube member podcast right here, Max Gain. We did it for free. So if you want to check out what we do, and if you want to check out some of the new stuff we came out with the GAN model, because we have the model, that's Toby, and then we have another model, like a GAN computer model. We will have some of that stuff today, like what are the best coins around the full moon. So you can check that out, or you can check out, you know, the members only videos. We will be doing the member stream again tomorrow with more in-depth portfolio picks. All right, what else we got today? In the PowerPoint today, we are going to go over, right, the best stuff for the upcoming full moon. Also, Eagle King sharing Patreon. Just so you know, the Patreon store is now fully loaded, okay, with prices to fly, $27 or $29, okay? Contrarian Coinbase picks, and we've got the AI forecast, 5 explosive setups. Please check that out, okay? Especially, you know, if you're allergic to monthly memberships, I got it priced to move. Moving. Okay, let's get into the news. Don't forget about LuxAlgo, right? It's like the beating heart of a lot of our chart work. Okay, China cuts rates to stimulate struggling economy. They're done, right? So the Taiwan dollar, the Taiwanese currency rallied massively. The dollar completely fell out of bed. Why? Because the best way to do a trade deal is to make the dollar cheaper. So American goods are cheaper in Asia. Done. Nobody understands that this trade thing is over. Jerome Powell doesn't get it at all. At all. Okay, Doomberg. Dollar faces $2.5 trillion avalanche of Asian sales. Yeah. And a trade deal. A trade deal. It's done. It's done. They've done this before. They did it in 1985. They just came in, said the dollar is too strong versus the yen. The Japanese aren't buying our products. We're buying way too many Toyotas. The U.S. Auto industry is getting crushed. Fix the currency. Boom. It's done. And then Powell's like, well, you know, we have to wait to see what tariffs are, blah, blah, blah. Hey, buddy, is your screen broken? Are you not seeing what's going on in Asia? Are you not seeing deals get done? I mean, you know, it's like hosing you on purpose. They were cutting rates when everything was great, and now everything is not great, and they're not cutting rates. And there's no inflation at all. Okay, Google falls as Apple explores AI in its browser. You know, like after ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Grok, talking to Siri is almost a joke. So, you know, anytime Apple would like to get that together is okay with me. I continue to believe Web 2 is not investable anymore. It's in a range. It's had its day. You got to go somewhere else. You got to go to AI agents. You got to go to crypto. You got to go to Bitcoin. It's the same thing I say every single day. Bitcoin is software you can't copy, and we got to focus on prosperity, not the apocalypse. not the apocalypse. Treasury Secretary Bessent to meet with Chinese economic lead. Again, the Chinese have to get something done because their currency will fall apart and the currency in Hong Kong, which is connected to the dollar in a way I won't explain. But if they lose control over their currency and the Hong Kong dollar, particularly when you got all this currency volatility in Asia, they're gonna do something. They're gonna work this out, because if the orange man continues to put pressure on them, something over there is going to break. And there are some problems that you cannot print your way out of. Either way, I cannot believe that there isn't going to be massive demand for the Bitcoin ETF out of Hong Kong. I just can't believe it. Okay, so again, the Fed, the follies, the stupidity. It's so painful to look at. This is going to create the shocking move in Bitcoin. It hasn't been traded yet. It's going to be. Okay, they cut rates with GDP at 3% and record highs in stocks. And now with inflation in the tank and stocks down and max uncertainty, they're going to wait it out. Shut up. Like, you might as well just either not talk or come out and tell us who you're really working for. Tariff uncertainty, inflation. Dude, everything at Costco doubled while you sat around and did nothing. Nothing. Except make people's credit card interest rates go higher and higher and higher. We'll talk about the bankruptcies that are happening as a result of this. Okay, now revisions to the last year's unemployment. Private employment fell 163,000 in the second quarter of 2024, meaning a net loss for the 6 months from April to September. While the monthly jobs report during these months showed a gain of 797,000. There has been zero job growth for 2 years. Everybody wants to think we're going into a recession. We've been in a recession. We've been in a recession, and the only way out of that recession for young people, for me, for you, is Bitcoin and crypto. If the market sucks, I don't care. This theme is not going anywhere. And every time Powell opens his mouth, it's another opportunity to pound the table on this, right? High school juniors with $70,000 a year jobs. Okay. It's amazing. And this is a great headline, right? If you can't get something done by someone from overseas for minimum wage, if you have skills that people want, you're getting paid. Very interesting. I often think I'm super glad I'm in crypto, but it was funny back when I was young, right? We thought people who went to trade school were ridiculous. Now people going to trade school are getting jobs like the way people were getting Wall Street jobs in the 80s, right? This to me, I mean, I'm glad for these kids. This to me means the labor market is already broken for white collar workers, and AI and all these AI agents have not kicked in. Now, Powell, again, you know, he would tell you when he was tightening, well, demand is too high. The labor market's too hot. You know, the labor market's too hot. Demand is too high. Okay, bro. Well, it's gone. And the only people getting jobs are kids who know how to do shop class. Everyone else is hosed. Seriously, hosed. Fed Powell says inflation has come down a lot. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So do something about it, right? Notice how the orange man did not criticize Powell today. And I hope he lays off that and lets the private sector criticize Powell. Let me do it. Powell says if tariffs are not reduced, it can lead to a rise in inflation, a slowdown in economic growth, and an increase in unemployment. Really, Jerome? Really? I can get an economics textbook and figure that out. The question is, right, when deals are getting done, there's no way this is permanent. And even if there are tariffs, as soon as people stop talking about it, they stopped talking about it in 2017 and 2018, and markets went up. It's the talk of it. It's the talk. It's not the tariffs. Okay. See, you know, we're exporting chips again, right? Every day they moderate it. Every day they roll something back. I mean, the equity market went hysterical over this. What's the problem? There is no problem. There just isn't. Okay. The Fed says we won't make any progress if tariffs stay. Does that sound like a political statement to you? It sounds like a political statement to me, because he's done this tariff thing before. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we're all wound up about tariffs. So we have to keep rates at 4% when inflation is 1%. I don't know. I can't go off on it enough. Why altcoin season may never come back. Ding, ding, ding. Print this, put it on your wall, right? Altcoin season is dead. It's crypto winter. Okay. It's not crypto winter. As soon as they said crypto winter, Bitcoin went up $10,000 in AI agents, and all AI coins smoked to the upside. And many altcoins, I mean, MOG was up today, right? It's good. I was looking at WIF. WIF is destroyed. WIF is leveraged Solana, and we did work yesterday on the model that shows, the top 2 altcoins that the Gann model wants to allocate to is Solana and, don't laugh, Cardano. They wanted to do half the asset allocation was going towards Solana and Cardano yesterday, which is funny, right? Now, Solana in particular, why are you sleeping on that? Don't sleep on Solana, and don't sleep on like altcoins as alternative tech stocks, right? The tech stocks are done. They're not done in terms of like creating value and earnings. They're just done as in their ability to just go up and up and up like last year where everything was like perfect. Businesses without Bitcoin are being irresponsible, says Tim Draper. If people want to sit on dollars, that's their problem. I know that people who run corporate treasuries, they get paid a lot of money. They get paid a lot of money to run corporate treasuries, right? Like, who's in charge of how they invest in treasury bills? What's their cash position? Stock buybacks. I mean, this is, treasuries are big operations inside big companies. And if Bitcoin goes to 120 and then 220, they're going to be sitting holding a bag. Or it would be funny if Bitcoin went to 120 and other currencies like Solana and ETH smoked to the upside. Right? Because again, all coins are never going up again, according to the B+ journalism majors. Just, I'm not having it. Now, this is the other thing that people continue to sleep on, right? 2 days ago, it was XRP going to $1. Now they're talking about $4, and that's more like it, right? These are American-made crypto, and this ISO 20022 thing that's coming into play in November, right? Basically, banks have to get on board with faster transaction speeds, to put it simply. And then Ripple has got to make an announcement or they're not going public, right? Galaxy's going public, and everybody's going to want to go public after that. The equity market has normalized. They're going to want to get public. They're going to make deals, right? And then the orange man is going to come out with, I don't know what happened to no tax on tips, no tax on transactions. He's going to make a deal with Congress. He's going to let them spend, which is Bitcoin bullish. I think they're going to do the strategic reserve, or they're going to do it inside the sovereign wealth fund. And then they're going to come back to the American-made cryptos. I don't know why they haven't gone back to the American-made cryptos sooner, but MicroStrategy doesn't go down. No downtick in MicroStrategy at all. And there's no real downtick in XRP or Bitcoin, right? So they know it's coming. I know it's coming. And all I can say is the money is not made in the buying and the selling. The money is made in the waiting. Because, the news is, it's all over the news if you know how to read it right. Okay. Bitcoin-backed loans are an obvious next step. And I completely agree. Like, anybody who's holding Bitcoin should not have to sell Bitcoin to pay bills. Should not. And you should be able to borrow money against the Bitcoin, because who wants to sell? No one wants to sell. You're going to sell Bitcoin, and then you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to be able to buy it on an exchange. Or if you do, you're going to pay some absurd markup, right? Like, this could get to a point where it gets tough to get liquidity. Now, I don't know where Michael Saylor is getting all his Bitcoin from. Somebody's selling it to him. I don't know if it's the Chinese, but again, this is the beginning of DeFi on Bitcoin, basic collateralized lending. Okay. Now, on a sobering note, right, on-chain data, every day on-chain data shows a different thing. Like yesterday, on-chain data showed, it's as oversold as it was back in 2019. Okay. And now everyone's taking profits near 100. Okay. Now here's my attitude about this. Everyone's afraid of 100. Everyone sells in front of 100. The last people that sold above 100 were all geniuses because it went down to 75. So now that it's approaching 100, people will sell again. Everyone's afraid of 100. So what happens per the YouTube member area when it goes through 100? What happens? What happens when it goes through 100? How about it just absolutely smokes to the upside? How about it? Because again, everybody sold. Everybody. Like whales sell, Michael Saylor buys. Who's right? I report, you decide. Okay, let's see who's here today. Miklo, what's up? Don, Quiet Don, right? Huckleberry Native, a member for 6 months. Thank you. A1, K Real, right? Yeah, Miklo wants to look at Velodrome. Aerodrome came up in the GAN model. Okay. I love all that stuff. ETH, base, DeFi. I want it. I want it. Hobby, a member. Patriot Caveman, what's up? Right? JB from SoCal, A1. When China is talking tough in public, means they wanted a deal. Yeah, of course they want a deal, dude. They cannot have their currency blow up. You can't print your way out of a currency crash. Sometimes you can. Okay. A1, Nicole in the house. Okay. All right. I will pass on the wardrobe advice. Okay. Big Rich is here. What's going on, buddy? Stefan is here. And of course, the great Santini. Okay. Back to all the reasons why you should stay in crypto, even if it hurts. Okay. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose as long as you take as long as you irritate everybody. Sorry, let me say that again. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose as long as you irritate everybody. Trump set to raise millions. Okay. Meme coin dinner. 58 crypto wallets have made millions and everyone else has gotten hosed. Okay. That's true. And that's probably true in just about every meme coin. And I think a lot of the people that are holding this coin are holding it as collectibles, not to excuse the price action because it's horrendous. Somebody sold over the top of all of us. That was awful. I agree on that front. But I don't agree with this idea, given the corruption in Washington, that the Orange Man should be able to have a members-only dinner. I mean, are you saying that nothing in Washington is done by kind of like status and who's paying who? So it's a meme coin. Who cares? Right. And then, what people don't realize, and this was kind of what came out yesterday, and I think what reversed the market is leak reveals Wall Street quietly gearing up for huge Bitcoin and crypto price boom. Okay. All this Bitcoin ETF buying, Larry Fink knows it. They know what's going on. They know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to do. Eric Trump came out yesterday and said, here's what we're going to do. This was late breaking news that the Eagle King found yesterday on the YouTube member live stream. That wasn't the YouTube member live stream because I pressed the wrong button. I mean, go check it out. Seriously. You want to know where it's going? Check out what we're doing with the YouTube member area. Oh, look at this guy. With his cryptocurrency schemes, Trump is putting a for sale sign in front of the White House. Says the morons that spent $1 trillion every 5 months for 4 years. You got to be kidding me. That's why, as a ranking member of the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, I'm launching an inquiry into somebody launched a meme coin at the height of his popularity and it went down. Okay, you launch an inquiry into this. We'll do the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve instead. Bessent sees $2 trillion in treasury demand from digital assets. Hence, they want to do stable coins. How do stable coins remain stable? They buy treasury debt, right? They buy treasury debt to back their stable coin, period. And Congress knows it, and so does Bessent, and everyone is on board. And it would be nice if everybody got on board with the crypto bill. If anything, the orange man's meme coin is actually hurting that, because it's just an excuse to be, for the left to be obstinate, because they have nothing else to talk about. They've screwed up that badly, and that's on them, whether you like that or not, whether you like them or not. I mean, it's okay if you're on the left. I get it. There's people on the left. We're in crypto. You could be on the right or on the left. Crypto, puts you on the same page. But again, there's going to be a big announcement. What's the big announcement going to be? Okay, Vivek trying to revive his popularity after saying something stupid. Wants to take his hedge fund public and raise $1 billion to buy Bitcoin. That what? He just decided to do that yesterday? Like, I think I'll do this. It's just, hey, you know what? Let's go public and buy Bitcoin. No, people, listen, Michael Saylor is on the tape kind of embarrassing all these finance guys. It's like some computer executive has figured out and made himself look like a genius and sold a whole bunch of stock at the top, which people are still gobbling up. And everybody said he was crazy. And then Bitcoin's going to go to 120 and he's going to look like a genius. Meanwhile, back at the retail ranch, Chapter 7 individual bankruptcies in April rise 16%. Credit card interest rates, car payments, home loans, they can't pay. This is Powell's fault. This is Powell, right? Inflation rampages. People get levered on credit cards to buy basic goods. And then if the labor market doesn't recover, they go bust. And wait until this permeates into housing. 4% Fed funds with interest rates at 1%. The market is way too tight. And, if you're going to make a neutral, objective point, this tariff thing scared corporate executives, and they're probably not going to do any hiring for 2 quarters because they're afraid, right? Not because the tariffs are going to do something. They might, but it was just fear. So fear in the labor markets, right? With inflation at 0, he's going to be cutting rates. He's going to be cutting rates in an emergency basis if he continues to do this. The Wall Street Journal has totally gone to hell. It's rotten. Yeah, it probably is, right? Because nobody likes changing the status quo. And if the orange man change the status quo, we'll do it. I continue to believe we do not need the government to moon our bags. We don't. I mean, a strategic Bitcoin reserve or something like it would be nice. But we don't need, if he screwed up on tariffs and Powell screwed up on rates, there's nowhere for Bitcoin and XRP to go but up. Okay, Coinbase running ads during the NBA playoffs. Hence, the market sucks. So whenever we're done with this, the market can go up again. Commercials, Super Bowl commercials, bearish. I'm sorry. Okay, be not enticed to tyranny. The surveillance state's not going away. It's not going away. They built it in China. They'll build it here. And even if it's not obvious, Skynet is going to go, they're going to know everything you do. You can listen to a song, you can listen to a song on your phone, and then the next 3 things that they show you in terms of advertising were things that you want to buy. They just happen to show it to you. It's amazing how that works, right? Which is why, antivirus has got a new website today. Privacy. Coinbase becomes exclusive crypto partners with Riot Games. Quietly, again, a number theme from the YouTube member area. Okay, gaming as an onboarding process. Slowly percolating. Remember, we're never going to have an altcoin season again. Remember that. There's no point in investing in tech. Right? The coins outside the top 10 market cap are worth something like 700 or 800 billion. It's a joke. It's a joke. Ethereum does something. They called it the Pectra upgrade. Just do something. Something, anything. Go back to proof of work. I don't know. Whatever. Do something. I continue to believe that the tokenization of assets is going to be a Q3, Q4 theme, because this thing that happened with the tariffs is going to scare everybody. Okay. This is the new and improved antivirus website, complete with Talking John McAfee, the NFT collection, new slick cross-chain mixer, right? Exactly. All up here. Go antivirus. Get after it. Okay. We may have talked about this yesterday. We're going to talk about it again. These American-made, let's call them the bank cryptos, right? Algorand, Quant, right? XDC, Hedera, Cardano, Stellar, XRP. You got to watch out if people are sleeping on these coins. You sleep on XRP, and you could have $3.50 in a hurry. Seriously. I mean, I understand it's very easy to try to appeal to people who like XRP. But the fact of the matter is, MicroStrategy doesn't go down, Bitcoin doesn't go down, and XRP doesn't go down at all. At all. Right? Everyone's like, well, it's boring. It's this, it's that. Yeah, but you're not taking any heat on your positions. None. Okay, MicroStrategy. This should be a top. It's not. The definition of a top in MicroStrategy is that it just glides sideways. And what you probably can't see here is that this resistance here is no longer resistance, right? You might get another pause here. You might, right? That's a 4-hour chart. So there might be another 13 top. But again, 13 and 9 tops are not stopping this. I mean, I don't understand why this can't just blow through 400 and go to 440. Because I don't know where the resistance really is in this stock. Where's the resistance? I just don't see it. I mean, you can have 2 more big up weeks or 2 big more up months, right? And you could also have, even if it is going to slow down, you could have a buying climax in May or June to get a 13 top on the monthly chart. I don't think it's just going to sit here and give you a 13. If it gives you a 13, it's going to be a blow off top. People are short this, right? People are shorted. There's support underneath the market and in MicroStrategy, right? And we're going to PowerPoint after this with altcoins. We have like a new altcoin overtime, which I undersold at the beginning of the stream. Okay. It's 35% away from its premium zone. This is MicroStrategy Daily. Bitcoin takes out 100. You have to ask yourself what happens. Everyone's selling, everyone out. Crypto Quant says this is oversold or it's bearish as it's been since 2019. If it takes out 100, what's going to happen? First of all, nobody thinks it can take out 100. And then you got to start asking yourself, what happens if it does? Particularly since it's crypto winter. We're never having alt season again. Yada, 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 right? Orange Man meme coin bad. Okay. Just cut these articles out and pin them on your wall. Because when it takes out 100, the FOMO is going, in my opinion, is going to be absolutely stark raving unbelievable. Okay, PowerPoint, the Gann model. PowerPoint is back. Make sure you stay tuned into the stream. And by the way, if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell, right? Baby whale, you're never too late. You're never too ad. You are right on time. Okay, A1 says no ads, please. All right, well, we have to keep the doors open, right? We have to keep the doors open. Enough people join the YouTube member area, I will turn off the ads. I'd be happy to. All right. Felix says, hey, Bill, why do Jerome Powell and Trump want me poor? All right. Well, before we go to PowerPoint, let me answer that question. They want you poor and afraid. Being poor makes you afraid. This is a Toby thing. Being poor makes you afraid. And if you're afraid, you're easy to control. You're easy to control. And a lot of times when you're afraid, you don't make the best decisions. I experience this firsthand on a regular basis. They want you poor because they want to control you. And that's why you got to get involved in crypto, because crypto creates a wealth effect. Crypto is universal basic income without the government. It is. And if you get your hands on some Bitcoin and hang on to it, that's going to really help you when AI agents really start accelerating. right? They told, you know, they want you poor so that when AI comes around, you don't have the power to push back, right? If you're poor and you're living check to check, and then there's a labor market disruption because of AI, all of a sudden they're giving you a CBDC or some government stable coin, and they have a lot of control over you, which is why I'm screaming Bitcoin, antivirus, I'm screaming whatever. It doesn't have to be those two coins. It can be whatever you find. I personally think you trying to figure it out, even though we give you all this research everywhere, you can get our research, you get other research. It's empowerment, so you're less afraid, right? That's what not having enough money will do to you. Trust me, I know. Trust me. Okay, a Grok estimate of the tariff tweets by X accounts with more than 500K followers. Catchy, if you ask me. Okay, obviously, Liberation Day, everyone freaking out. And guess what? The Taiwan dollar has got the tariff talk up, but the Chinese are going to make a deal, and this is going to end. This is going to end, right? You know, he'll keep the screws down until he gets what he wants, right? And it could, who knows? It could be a currency devaluation over there. I don't know. But he's getting what he wants, and this is going to top out. And they're going to switch over to Bitcoin, right? I mean, my God, at the end of April, it was almost, you know, it was low. So if this tops out again, Bitcoin becomes the topic. Now, meme coins, don't laugh. You know, if we're talking about Solana, shouldn't we talking about leverage Solana? I mean, you know, Elon goes and gets into MOG, showing the total desperation he has to get back in the public narrative after owning the public narrative, right? If this stuff wakes up, I mean, WIF currently is trading at 56 cents. And whether it's WIF or whether it's not, equilibrium in this is at 250. So just balance, right? Right now it's wrecked. And I don't know if you can see it down here, but money flow is starting to go green. You know, basically in February, you had people giving up on this. Like, I mean, this is just everybody out. I would describe this as everybody out and nobody went back in again. And I just noticed this thing's breaking a LuxAlgo trend line quietly while going sideways, and it's sitting on top of support. Now, again, it's not necessarily an argument for WIF. It could be an argument that this is leveraged Solana, because that's what WIF and Bonk really are. Okay, John 16, thank you for the content. You're welcome. Thoughts on CRO? Okay, well, for John 3:16, we can definitely transfer over to CRO. Okay, you know, so many of these things are so similar. So similar. Oh, the wrong CRO. Oh, that CRO. Sorry. The one with the zero. My bad. Okay. I believe this is some sort of AI agent. Very hard to get me off this narrative. Okay. You got a lot of volume coming in at the bottom. Let me see if I have it on LuxAlgo. No, I don't. Okay. So back to what the Eagle King pulls out. Okay, so the way I look at these coins is it's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money, right? Looks like somebody was a big buyer up top, probably trying to push it, and then someone puked it down here. Here's my thought on anything related to AI. I cannot get this GAN model. I don't want to get it off that. I cannot get this GAN model off AI coins. You know, I keep saying, are you biased AI coins because you're an AI? It keeps telling me no. I can't get it to shut up about AI coins. It just wants it. And this is a GAN model. So, you know, they smacked it. And if you believe in it, I don't know, man, get after it. Like, let's look at the Fibonacci retracement on this. Yeah, see, they take it up, and then they retrace back to the 62% retracement. Share screen, damn it. Okay. Right. Here's the 62% retracement right here at 0.00186. This is a 4-hour chart. Okay. Means Nada says we need HBAR. We certainly do. I say buy dips. Buy dips. I mean, buy dips in May, because all it takes is one announcement and it's gone. And you never, and listen, go look at what Toby said yesterday, right? Go look. It's free. It's free. You know, it's free. Go watch the show. Have her tell you, watch what she says about basically our current prices. I know what she said about the lows at 70 or 80, right? Everyone thinks they're getting a dip back down there. Good luck with that. Okay, again, Hedera. See this LuxAlgo thing? I mean, LuxAlgo, we undersell it. Comes to screen share. Right. You know, LuxAlgo puts this automated pennant in here, which may be obvious, but maybe not. All right. And Hedera could turn positive. Right. Somebody in here saying that pharmaceutical companies were not hurt by the tariffs. It's funny. Oh, damn it. Okay. Again, for the final time, Hedera. 200-day moving average. Every time these things consolidate, when it blows through the 200-day moving average, it goes. You had the same thing in Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was below the 200-day moving average, and everybody was like, blah, 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 blah. And then what did Bitcoin do? I'll show you, right? It smoked through the 200-day moving average. It sat here for a while, right? They made you think it was no good. Well, I'll buy it when it breaks out. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You had about 20 minutes to do that before it just took off. And I don't see why any of these ISO 2022 coins would be any different. Why would we not return to the American-made cryptos? Okay. Full moon portfolios. Full moon coming up, right? May 12th. What's the GAN model say about what to buy now? A new form of altcoin overtime. Okay, so as a reminder, 91 is support in Bitcoin. I don't think you're seeing that. I don't think you're seeing it, right? I think the time to see it was yesterday. That's it. Your dip was to 93. The model wants to be 28% allocated to Solana. If you look at the big coins, and if you don't want to do Cardano, XRP is right behind it at 18%. Okay, now, in terms of the big coins that it likes, oh, Cronos. The guy actually did want Cronos. Okay, I will come back to that. Bitcoin remains strong. Fetch, you know, Fetch is big on mentions on Lunar Crush. The Eagle King has got me into that. Chainlink for real-world assets. Who would think, right? That's like a dead coin. The meme coin is Pepe. So Pepe and WIF came up when I was playing around with the model, and Aerodrome. And I didn't forget about Velodrome, right? These DEXs, DeFi, no one is interested. Okay, top pick is TAO. Okay, full moon on May 12th, and this thing is like TAO. TAO, TAO, TAO. Okay, and it wants to hold TAO for a full month momentum. And it's got TAO slightly ahead of Fetch or artificial superintelligence token. And I don't care. It's probably either one. But it's a top pick. Now, just in case you don't know, right, it's decentralized AI training. incentives for layer for intelligence, open neural networks, and anti-monopoly on AI. Anyone can launch a subnet, a blockchain native way to build collective distributed brain without centralized servers. OpenAI is not going to be a for-profit company. Why? Because it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. They've already removed the safety features over there. You got to go decentralized AI. And the chart on this is kind of neutral, right? So the runner-up for what to buy for the full moon, non-investment advice, is Maple, or now Syrup is the symbol, right? So, Tau is for May 8th to 15th, right? Like that's the buy zone. And Tau is also the strongest narrative, plus cycle alignment, plus recovering from a TA point of view. And the runner-up is Syrup, right? Which has been breaking out of late. So that is the market update. Like, what should you do now? Like, we got a whole new dimension of the show, right? What you should do is Tau, right? Solana is your number one allocation in a basic portfolio. Don't sleep on XRP, and don't sleep on Chainlink and Aero. Now, back to live TA with all this in mind. Sharing the screen. Okay, so crypto.com, I believe, Cronos. All right, again, LuxAlgo, right? They have a different way of drawing these lines. And you know what? Again, to me, it feels like there's all these quiet breakouts occurring, right? When you break out of a triangle at the apex, right, the moves can be powerful. I mean, I don't know what the value proposition of this is, but I do know it's very far away from it's 12% away from its 200-day moving average. So why would you pack it in now? Why would you, right? Tau is sitting on its 200-day moving average, which is interesting, right? They call that a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. We're really putting the Gann model to the test. We'll see what happens. And it's got, artificial super intelligence token right behind it. In terms of I had to score both. It's like, an artificial super intelligence token is doing very well on Lunar Crush, like, social mentions. So you got a cup and handle clearly. Handles suck, frankly. They bore you. They chop you up. But when it goes, it goes. The money is made in the waiting. Velodrome. Haven't looked at the chart lately, but again, Velodrome is still inside of its discount zone. And LuxAlgo draws these bullish downward sloping wedge, which is a nice way, to use Toby's term, of artificial suppression. It's artificially suppressed. And when it gets loose, because again, we're not going to have DeFi, we're not going to have Base, we're not going to have ETH. Altcoin season's never happening. It's crypto winter. Blah, blah, blah. I just don't think that that's right. Right? I just don't. Right? I mean, our model had virtual as the number one, as one of the top coins. And I believe in here somewhere, we did this yesterday in the YouTube member area. No, I don't have it. So it's virtuals now, followed by Clearpool and RWA later. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we got. Going back to live TA. Okay. Okay, so if you look at Aero, right? What did Aero do? Up, break this DeMark line, which is right where this give up trade started from, and there were buyers over here. They want this thing. They want it. In other words, if you're going to buy a dip, like luckily you got a dip, like make them stop you out. Make them stop you out because, again, the orange man is coming with some kind of an announcement. And if he doesn't, Powell has screwed up to the degree where, frankly, this just has to go up. You know, Popcat up 12%. You know, some of these meme coins are headed for their 200-day moving average. You know, the speculative sludge always leads the way out. Always. Right? You know, look at Solana. Like, you know, check out the accidentally free member live stream. Free. Like, all you got to do is watch the show to find out what Toby was saying about Solana at 140. It's a joke. And everybody knows this support's down here. Like, you know, obviously you got a lot of people with LuxAlgo. Okay. A lot. Member wants to question a comparison between Sui and Aero. Okay. Well, I can't give everything away on Sui because I did a big thing about it in Patreon. So if you want the full Sui roadmap, it's not in the store. Well, it is in the store and it's in the member area. So I don't want to, like, you know, tell you everything about Sui, but there is something going on probably with DeFi. And this is a classic example of what happens when you break these formations, right? You break it near the apex and it's just gone. And Sui is consolidating right where the kind of the give up trade started from in late February. Somebody wants to buy this. I mean, it's, to me, that seems obvious, right? And you're not getting the dips. I mean, the support is at 280, and I'm just wondering how that even happens. How does that even happen? And if it does, well, great. That's, you know, that's unfortunate if you bought the dip today. I mean, I think they want both of them, but honestly, you know, Toby talked about what the upside she thinks in Sui is. And, you know, again, I'm going to make you watch the show. Okay. And I think I did Crow, but we'll do it again. Yeah. Okay. So in Crow, you have the same thing that you had in Sui. It just hasn't broken out yet, or it's trying to break out quietly. There's a lot of quiet breakouts going on in crypto. But the market is breaking out of formations by either going sideways or rallying slightly. So if you're trapped in this, or, you know, you think it's going to go up, leave it. Just leave it, right? The money is made in the waiting. You know, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Orange Man's meme coin, since everyone's so wound up about it. And again, it's sitting on the bottom of a support zone. So if it holds $10.65, it's fine. If it doesn't, well, I don't know. It's a meme coin. You know, if they ever got that going, or if Solana ever got going. And here is Solana versus Bitcoin. And everyone's telling me that memes, altcoins are dead. How could altcoins be dead when it looks like Solana wants to outperform Bitcoin? And again, you know, the Gann model has a #1 allocation. Big Rich is always asking me about this. That's why I got it up on my screen. Solana's going to outperform Bitcoin. Solana versus Bitcoin is going to go up. So if Bitcoin's up 1%, Solana's going to be up 2 or 3%. How can you run both charts on TradingView together on one stream? Okay, well, let's do that. So we have Aero, right? And then what you want to do is you want to add Sui. So you hit this plus button, and then you hit Sui, right? And then you wave the mouse over it, and it'll say new price scale. So you hit new price scale, and it gives you Sui. All right. Okay. Then sometimes you have to change the style so you can see it, particularly if you're a LuxAlgo person. You know, like Sui and Aero went at the same time, but Sui was just a lot more vertical. And Aero is still so far below its 200-day moving average. If you ask me, the two things look like they're moving together. But Sui obviously has the punch, but Aero is dramatically oversold and sitting on support. This is the other thing, right? Right. We have a new member, Reggie Classics, right? Welcome back, sir. Welcome. All right. Okay. So the usual speech. If you're poor and you're afraid, or you're wrecked, you have money and you're wrecked and you're afraid, don't be afraid. It's easier said than done. But I'm using the Gann model to try to like laser in on this. You know, you have dip buying points in things like Sui and TAO. Check that out in the Patreon area. Toby told you for free what she thinks of the current market, and she hasn't been right. She's like hotter than a pistol barrel on some of these calls. And we're doing advanced Gann analytics on mid caps and small caps. So normally you get mid cap and small cap picks. She does them live, and we may have the model live as well, right? And she may come up with a bunch of coins, and then I have the model rank them. We did it yesterday, ironically, with virtual coming out as the #1 coin. Like the model, the Gann model just continues to pick AI. So check out the YouTube member area. We're back streaming on Thursday. Okay. We will discuss wardrobe. We will check that out, and I will see you tomorrow.